Hello class, my name is Chris Karras, and today I would like to discuss the topics that were assigned to us for this first scholarly activity. First topic is to explain the 5 classes of fuels and how they affect the growth of fire. Class A fuels are otherwise known as ordinary combustibles and tend to ignite using a heat source which gradually heats the Class A fuel and causes combustion gradually. Class B fuels are flammable liquids and gas and tend to have a rapid burning process that goes from not on fire to on fire in no time flat. Big Class A and B, both Class A and B, emit vapor when heated. And the difference is how fast it ignites. Flammable liquids are not soluble in water, so when water is applied, it amplifies the volume of the fuel, which helps to convert it to vapor faster, causing a massive flash of heat and light. Water with foam is used to blanket Class B fires to suppress the vapor content at the surface, essentially smothering the oxygen which is required in the fire triangle and tetrahedron. Class C fires are energized electrical fires. Typically, when the energy source is removed, the fire converts into a Class A fire. Class A fires are extinguished by removing heat and oxygen simultaneously using water. The fire triangle is described in our book as oxygen, heat, and fuel. And the difference between the triangle and the tetrahedron is the addition of a chemical chain reaction. Class D fires are a good example of a chemical chain reaction in regards to burning metal. Magnesium car parts are making a comeback from the old 1960s VW engine blocks to now full cases are made out of magnesium. Extinguishing a metal fire with water will cause an explosive environment that amplifies the fire's growth exponentially. More and more industries are using combustible metals and things like superconductors. In an article written by Killian Nam and Junzik Lee that states the amount of usage of combustible metals is increasing due to the continuous development of semiconductors and the fuel cell industries. Class K fires are fuels which are exclusively non-polar solvent cooking oils, are fast growing due to the substance being constantly heated and hard to cool off due to the container causing the source of heat. Pre-existing extinguishing agents cause what is called soponification, which is a chemical chain reaction that turns the oil into soap, essentially stripping the fuel and air from the fire. Pre-mixed and diffusion flames both require the fire tetrahedron to maintain a flame. The way that both flames go about receiving their needs is how they differ. Pre-mixed flames have an air and fuel mixed in a carburetor at the correct ratio, and then it is ejected through an opening where a heat source is introduced and an instant flame is born with very little, if any, smoke. Since conditions are controlled, a hotter flame is able to be had with the least amount of fuel. Conversely, diffusion flames are low in temperature and produce incomplete products of combustion, which is smoke. The heat from diffusion flames is introduced to a media like a candle wick, and fuel is then drawn through it where it vaporizes and mixes with the outside air of a container. Gravity slows the fuel along with friction, and there's always more air than is needed, causing a rich mixture and allows the flame to appear as if it were floating on top of whatever fuel source is. The next subjects I'd like to discuss is the heat of combustion and combustion efficiency. Heat of combustion is defined in our book as how much energy a fuel can release when oxidized. The energy is measured in kilojoules per gram. For solid materials, a special process using an oxygen bomb calorimeter will hyperoxygenate the material, helping it achieve near complete combustion. Combustion efficiency is how well a fuel burns. You can never have 100% combustion efficiency because heat loss and inefficient diffusion of oxygen into the chemical chain reaction causes incomplete combustion. If you sit around a campfire long enough, and you will see exactly what incomplete combustion looks like and smells like. Smoke is the incomplete products of combustion that fire emits due to inefficient combustion. The diffusion of oxygen is not enough to provide for a complete combustion, and chemicals such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water, cyanide are produced through a process called pyrolysis. Smoke is just as dangerous as the fire itself. Smoke has the ability to be superheated and to become an ignition source all of its own. Smoke enters the airway and destroys the structural integrity of the respiratory tract that has lifelong implications. Carbon is also emitted, which makes smoke thick and at times heavy enough to engulf an entire structure. Reading smoke is an art of sorts and can divulge information about what is burning, how hot a fire is, and the location of the fire. The hotter a fire burns, the less smoke there is. The more efficient a fire is, the less smoke there is. Smoke that is hot rises, and when smoke cools, products of combustion fall to the floor, covering everything. The simple flame and smoke created by cigarettes are now on the list of substances that cause cancer from the EPA. Overall, smoke kills more than fire and should be respected when on the fire ground and decontaminated accordingly. The fire department I recently left was doing a study on the urine of members that were inside of house fires to detect levels of cyanide in our system. All the bad chemicals that are created with new materials burn hotter, produce toxic chemicals that legacy fuels of the past just didn't. Thank you for listening to my responses, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.